Let him take the class time. I don't know what he has planned, but I'm sure it's not illegal, immoral, or fattening. So we'll just let him go. As long as it's not fattening, that's the most important thing.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the time and coming. I really want to explain hypnosis, what hypnosis is. I'm not here to make you a believer or non-believer. I don't care if you believe in gravity or not. It still works. It's still the same thing. So I hope to explain it to you so you can understand it, and then you can go from there. If you understand it, then you have unlimited possibilities. So with that, child development, I believe, and this is where I come from, is I did the paramedic route here at actually UVU, and then I was going to go in the nursing program, hopefully to do the PA thing, and then I discovered hypnosis. And so I dropped the medical side of things and went to the natural side of things, the alternative side of things, because it's really fascinating to me, and it's, well, maybe you can see why when I get done with it, why I chose that route, because there isn't one thing that fits everybody, obviously. You know, medications don't affect every person the same way. Hypnosis isn't going to affect the same person the same way. Neither is, you know, meditating or energy healing or crystals or whatever you want to go. There's many faucets out there of whatever you want to choose. So in the beginning, though, I believe that we're born with a subconscious mind. That's all we have is a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is very feeling, imaginative. Feeling meaning that's all it knows. It doesn't think, it just feels. Imagination in that you can't tell the difference, your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between reality or imagination. It is very goal-oriented. When it gets a program in its mind, it will achieve it. And they're very happy. It's a very happy, blissful moment. I think that's the way all kids are born, from that way. And it's kind of like if you're in a white room with no gravity and there's nothing around you, how would you ever know what anything is? You could never know where there is because you don't know from where you're coming from. So everything is perfectly white, like I believe an innocent child is. But when you have, say, even just a black dot in your white room, now you know what white is because you know what it isn't. You know where that is because you know where you are. Everything comes comparison because of the feelings. And so a blissful child comes, I think it happens sometimes in conception of tongue wire. Because, why do I believe that? Because I can regress somebody back into the womb sometimes. So that's where I believe it begins. And it gets its first experience from mom. Mom is God. Mom feels stressed out, baby feels stressed out, baby realizes something it's not. Baby feels maybe unwanted. You know, mom is like, oh no, I'm pregnant, what am I going to do? You know, Johnny boy has no idea where he is, whatever else. The baby could feel unwanted at that time. And or it can also feel wanted too. So it knows what it's going about. So that's where I believe some of these programs, I'm going to call them programs, get set into a child's mind, into their body, into their subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is also looks for, what is called proof, I guess. Proof. That it looks for proof of why that's true. If it felt unwanted, it's going to look for reasons why it is unwanted. So if you have a, let's say this is a little kid, let's say he goes on to 3 years old, and mom's making cookies, and no, Joey, get out of the kitchen, I can't have you in here right now. The subconscious mind is going to look at that and build that program a little bigger. Mom doesn't want me around. That's its perception, that's his belief. Then he's going to go and look at, say, in grade school, and the teacher's going to say, no, I need you to sit back here, I can't have you up front. You know, with the teacher's, mentality of a reasoning why he has that way. But the child's not going to realize that. It's going to send him back to, oh, the teacher doesn't want me. And then, it goes on through high school. Let's say little Joey here asks out the prom queen. Obviously, the prom queen is going to say, oh, no, and he's going to look at it and compound it even bigger that I'm not wanted. Then, let's say let's say that, let's say high school. He comes along and comes to see us. The psychiatrist says, man, I just don't feel wanted. I feel sad all the time. In the alternative side of things, I can't use medical terms, so I can't say he's depressed. I can just say he's sad. So, he's very sad. But he comes to you because he's depressed, because he's a psychiatrist and he wants to know why. And so, you talk and talk and talk about trying to figure out why he is unwanted in the way he feels. One of the things is all right, about age 7, let's go back that track a little tiny bit. Around 7, he doesn't have a conscious mind because he doesn't need it. Around age 7, he develops a conscious mind around it, okay? And what the conscious mind is the critical factor. Its job is to filter out what doesn't belong on the inside in the program. So, for example, let's say this is Joey, let's say this is the way he's developed, and let's say his parents, no, let's not use parents, let's use uncle, all right, Uncle Bob over here says, Joey, you're actually a really great kid. I love having you around, okay? That little suggestion is going to come and bounce off like that because his subconscious mind in here says he's a bad kid, he's not wanted. So when you got Uncle here gives a suggestion that he's good, it's not going to fire in, it's going to bounce off. Especially compared to how big this program is that he's unwanted. Okay? So that's how come when you say, like, if you tell, who can I pick on? Pick on the redhead that's not paying attention.
I am paying attention.
Oh,
I'm
good.
taking notes.
Oh, you're so brave.
How dare you? Anyway. No,
So-
but I'd be happy.
If you're very beautiful and thin.
Wow. Thanks.
Did you see how far that suggestion went inside her? It didn't go very in because her program inside, taking a wild guess, is not that she's very thin and beautiful.
I did accept then.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of thin.
So that's how come when you try and talk to people and you give them suggestions and different things like that, it bounces off. It's because this program in here is so big and built up because it's always looking for things as proof. So that's the conscious mind. Define hypnosis. Hypnosis is, by the U.S. government, defined a really pretty good way. It is the bypass of the critical factor to the establishment of selective thinking. Now, what in the world is that? Any guesses?
Can you say that again?
It's the bypass of the critical factor to the establishment of selective thinking. That's the definition of hypnosis by the little government. Any idea what that means? Okay. Bypass of the critical factor. What is the critical factor? It's his conscious mind. So you got to bypass this critical factor, the mind, to the establishment of selective thinking of programs inside of here. So when you hypnotize somebody, you're just getting past your stinking thinking. You're just trying to get them past their thinking. Because everybody has an excuse of why they do things. That's another thing with conscious mind. It always gives reasons for why it believes the way it is. You know, the conscious mind will give you the reason, Santa Claus can fit down a thin chimney because it's magic. You know, or why is George Washington here? Because he flew in to be to our class today. You know, depending on where they are in hypnosis, we'll hypnotize some people here in just a minute, and you can see that they just come up with some wacky, weird ideas because it's the conscious mind trying to give the subconscious mind reasoning. So let's do a little example here. Okay? Everybody close your eyes and put your hands way out in front of you. Hands all the way out in front of you. Turn your right hand up. There you go. There, yeah, it's like this. There you go. All right. Because I want you to imagine now, it's just an exercise. I just want you to imagine now I'm placing one of your biggest textbooks in your right hand. Just imagine that, feel that big textbook in your right hand. It helps if you close your eyes, just because I want you to experience this. This is an experience, okay? So big heavy book in the right hand. Now I want you to imagine your left hand that there is a string tied around your wrist full of helium balloons, and it's lifting that hand higher and higher. It's just feel that hand getting lighter and lighter. And as you hold out there, a book out there on your hand, it's getting heavier and heavier. And as it gets heavier and heavier, the balloon seems to be just getting lighter and lighter. But thinking about this, just feel it. Feel that book in your right hand. Feel it. The weight of it is just getting heavier and heavier, and the left hand is just going lighter and lighter, as if it's going up to the ceiling, going higher. And the right hand is getting heavier and heavier. Because I want you guys to freeze your hands right there. Now open your eyes. Just freeze right there and notice around. Pretty much everybody's right hand is a little lower and the left hand is a little higher. So here's my question for you. What suggestions have you accepted in life that are creating your reality? If I can suggest to you, you're holding a book and you're holding a light balloon, why is it that way that your hands are moving? Through your imagination, your subconscious mind actually controls, I believe, absolutely everything. Lady comes in for, because she wants to lose weight, okay? Most of the time, I'm not saying, because there is no never and there is no always. If I do, it's just, remember that, there is no never and there is no always. And it's because deep down in here, there's a subconscious reason of why she's that way. It could be, example coming up, this lady comes in and was wanting to lose weight. And so I regress her back into why she feels that way. And it takes her back to when she was, a late teenager, I guess, working at McDonald's. And there's a guy there that's not very nice, mean, ugly guy, whatever. And he follows her out to her car. So when he goes out to her car, she realizes he's there. He wants her to go meet him in a hotel room. She says, okay, just so she can get in her own car. And he gets in his car and she takes off. Very scary to her. She realizes, the subconscious mind realizes, I'm so beautiful. If I wasn't so beautiful, I wouldn't be attacked. I wouldn't get hurt. So, boom, she's big. So, where you go in and regress and release that feeling, and once the feeling, when the feeling is released, the perception can change. And she realizes it wasn't a big, fat, ugly dude guy. It was actually the guy she was very attracted to, and she was flirting with. And he pursued more into it than what she did. So she met him out in the car, and there actually was, she was going to go with this guy. And she didn't want that. And so it just scared her again, realizing she would actually go do something like that. So another program in there of why she needed to be fat. We release those programs and she loses weight. Interesting. What was I going to thought of something about that I wanted to mention, I forgot. Oh, perceptions. When something happens, let's say, I don't know, give me an example of anything that happened in your life or makeup. Anything?
Taking a scary test.
Taking a scary test, okay. The thought of taking a scary test makes you feel what?
Anxiety.
Great.
Panic.
Panic. Why do you feel that way? Something happened to you to make you feel that way. Okay. And that's another thing too is your conscious mind's out here. You can barely remember what you had for breakfast yesterday, but your subconscious mind, it records absolutely everything around you. You may be looking at me, but yet the teacher's over there, the whiteboard's up here, my website's up here, who's sitting over here. Your mind, subconscious mind picks up absolutely everything. It's like, there's a kid in the garage that, what was his issue that he came in for? I don't remember. Bottom line, there's a kid in the garage, and he was being made fun of by his friends. Okay, so we get those released out, those feelings released out, and everything seems fine. But there's still something wrong, something's bothering him. So you're aggressing back into him as if he's a fly on the wall, and he notices his dad is behind him. And, picks to the door, notices his friend is, he's being a coward to his friends. His friends are picking on him. And that hurt him deeper more than anything. That was his issue right there, was not, accepting his dad's love. He felt he let his dad down. So your subconscious mind picks up absolutely everything. There's nothing it doesn't pick up. the energy of, I don't know if you believe in energy or not, I don't even care, but there are sometimes, maybe when somebody walks in the room that's really upset, you can just feel their presence without them even saying anything. It's like, oh, you can cut a knife through this, something just happened. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But in that, a perception, a belief. These are all, remember the subconscious mind is a very feeling mind. So when something happens, you took a test back when you were 6 years old, making it up now, and you didn't do very good on it, and your mom and dad got mad at you, so you felt conditional love. So taking scary tests has affected you always because you're fearful that if you don't do good on tests, you're not going to do good, you're not going to be loved. Your parents aren't going to love you, and you're not going to be worth anything. But it's the feelings that lock that perception in. Something happens, and you get a perception of it. Like the perception, I'm conditional love if I don't get good on my test. That's a perception. The event was her mom yelled at her for not doing good on the test because she told her to study, but that's her perception. The feeling around it locks that perception in place, so that perception can't move at all. And then it gets build on, build on, build on. She takes more tests, she misses one, I'm not good enough, mom's not going to love me, I'm going to hide this test so it doesn't even see it. Yes?
I was just going to say, in the little book on how to succeed in math,
Right?
and test taking, it actually does go back to that, what you just said, that most people, and I'm one of those people, math is my worst anxiety taking a test, but usually it's because in your elementary school days or
Right.
junior high, you were not good at that, you were not good at taking tests, and that's what they related to, so.
Oh, you guys ever seen King's Speech? That was a good movie a long time ago. Okay. Remember in that movie he was doing lots of little exercises, blah, 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 blah. What he was doing, he's releasing those feelings, those energies. You remember, he flipped back a couple times and his dad yelled at him for, shut up, don't say anything. Thus he developed a stutter problem, thus he got those problems all his life. Now, when somebody comes into an office for a therapy session, I talk to them, one, because I want to build a relationship. I want them to know I care about them. I want to know I love them regardless of whatever has happened, whether they perceived it happened. Because in my mind, I know it's just a perception. There's always something good in everything. There's nothing that's ever bad in this world. It's kind of an advanced little perception, but it's something I've done that I've regressed enough to in my own life and done my own work, and enough of other people's too, that I realize there's something good in everything. There's nothing bad. Somebody's always doing the best they can with what they have, with their feelings and perceptions at that moment in time. So you take a dad that's beat his kid. What possibly good can come out of that? Well, the nice thing about my side on the therapy side, the way I do it is I don't know. I don't have to come up with it. I just release the feelings around it. Because once the feelings are released, then the perceptions can be allowed to change and realize, oh, Dad was beating me because he loves me. He didn't want me to grow up like him, so he didn't want me messing with his tools because he's had a bad life. Oh my gosh, I never realized that Dad didn't want me to be like him. He wanted me to be better than him. And it changes their whole outlook on life because the poor kid's been trying to be a mechanic all his life. And now he finally realizes that wasn't the way it was. Another movie is Inception. Nope. What's the one, that movie? He says, nothing's more powerful than a thought or an idea. Is it Inception? Okay, you remember in the very part at the end of the movie, why did he feel so bad? Because he thought his dad didn't love him. He wanted him to grow that business bigger. Remember he's saying, I just didn't want you to be like me. It's because he wanted him to grow something bigger, something better. And all that time implanted in his mind was, his dad didn't love him. It wasn't that way. His dad did love him. And take another one. A guy who's afraid that he's gonna. I should pick on girls more. It don't matter. Anyway, but because I hope you're getting the point that if you go into psychotherapy, or from what I perceive, I always look at in my mind I'm talking to him. That's where I was. I was talking to him, but in my mind I'm trying to think, what trance are they in? Where are they coming from? Because if somebody comes in because they're scared of a dog, great. So when they hear a dog or they're next to a dog, you're not dealing with a 32-year-old guy that's, 32. You're dealing with a 4-year-old that got bit by his puppy. That's what you're trying to deal with. In my practice, is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to release these perceptions, these beliefs inside. I'm just trying to get them to release so they can relax, so they can be empowered to do what they want to do in life, so they can take tests, so they can be thin, so they can fly in an airplane, so they can like dogs, so they can be healthier. Like the cancer patient when it came, and regressed her back into that. Well, many years ago, a long time ago, she had an abortion, and she felt guilty at that time that she should never deserve to live. And so, lo and behold, she develops cancer. Ain't that interesting? And I'm not saying everything is mind and body and energy, but I'm also not going to say it isn't, because I don't know. I look at medications now, and I think, all medication. Has anybody taken a medication class? Great. So, how do they prove a medication works?
Tests.
Right, but how?
They have to actually give it to a sample of people, and then they do like placebos and see if there's an actual behavioral change.
Exactly. So, let's say, give me a percentage of wild, hairy medication you can possibly think of. I don't even care what the medication is.
A percentage?
Yeah. How many placebos versus how many people change do they get? Is that right? That's the way they do it, right? They get 20 people lined up, give you 10, M&Ms give you 10, the medication, right? And then, if I'm not right, all they have to do is prove that it works, meaning they have to beat the placebo effect. Because they give placebos, M&Ms to these 10, well, 3 of them healed, got better, had the results that they wanted. And so on the medication side, they had 8 people, 6 people, whatever. They got the medication that made it better. Well, I get frustrated with medications because nobody ever bothered to look at, hey, what about the placebo effect? You didn't give those guys anything but M&Ms, and they got better versus the people who got medications. I'd rather take my placebo effect than to bother with their side effects. Just a little rant. But it's the same thing. You got kids. You got kids, and they're not happy. Oh, here's an M&M pill. It'll make you happy. And poof, it makes them happy. It's all because of the mind. I guess you guys have talked a little about hypnobirthing, and that's just nothing more than imagination that the pain isn't even there. Kind of easy. So, I'm doing great on time. Alrighty. Who wants to be hypnotized? Great, come on up. Come on.
I was thinking about it. I've never done a song.
Oh, why not? Well, we'll get a few of you here. Hypnosis was entered in like the medical people. I don't know if doctors say it's good for you, whatever.
Mine on camera too.
Yeah. I need a couple people. Let's have a couple. Come on. Bring your chairs, come around. It'll be fun. Okay. Where hypnosis started is actually with Mesmer, way back long time ago. He believed that if people held on to this magnetic rod, they give suggestions and they healed, and they did. And this is like back in Benjamin Franklin time, because actually Ben Franklin came and was with one of the groups that wanted to really understand what this guy was doing. And they kind of buffed him out, saying it has nothing to do with your magnetic rod that you're holding. It has to do with, that's how you scoot all together. And it's always nice to have a boy girl, so you get in the middle, buddy. Let's put this little lady over here, because it's kind of cute that way. All right. So he kind of buffed him out, saying, it hasn't anything to do with your metal rod. It's nothing special. It's the suggestions you're giving them that's making them heal. Ain't that interesting? But bottom line is he lost all his little prestige and who he was and whatever else. And then, there were Freud, and Dave Elliman was a psychiatrist, brought him into his practice, and he came up with a 3-minute induction. So we'll go through that so we can explain it, and go through that. And I'm just going to leave you that's standing there, so don't worry about anything. I'm just going to pick on these two here, okay? So, you're right, that is, hypnosis is kind of the yin and the yang of brainwashing somebody. Hypnosis is nothing more than getting permission, getting them to lie, yet wanting them to be hypnotized. Okay? Brainwashing is nothing more than bringing up the same thing, bringing up fear that this is the only way, you have to do it this way or I'll kill everybody. You know, I see it as in the brainwashing. I'm not going to brainwash you.
Don't kill me.
Right. You know, I hear some of these, you know, and then some of these other foreign countries that they take take kids and get them to be, I guess, soldiers at a young age. Yeah, they're brainwashing them to be a soldier. It's not nice. So, but it's the same. But hypnosis is kind of along the same lines, and you'll probably see that as we get effects. So you just sit and relax and be happy, and let's take these two. Okay? You okay with that? All right. So take a deep breath in, and let it out. And this time, take another one in, and as you let it out, close your eyes. Okay, I'm going to use the little Dave Elliman one. And this is, what I'm doing though, is I'm getting them to feel relaxed. Why? Because I don't want them to think anymore. I want them to feel, because the more they feel, the more hypnotizable they are. Okay? So, I want you guys to be relaxed, very relaxed. And I want you to bring up and focus your attention on your eyelids. Focus on your eyelids so much to the point that they will not work anymore. Relax your eyelids to the point that they will not work anymore. And when you're sure you've relaxed them to the point that they will not work anymore, go ahead and test them and realize you've relaxed them to the point that they will not work anymore. You got to be a little exaggerated because we're all trying to watch you, so lift your eyebrows up so we can see your eyelids are flashing, but they can't see back there that you're not doing. Okay. Go ahead and relax even deeper. Go ahead and relax. See, I'm getting their imagination because I'm trying to get to their subconscious mind. So, now I want you to take that quality of relaxation you have in your eyes and let it flow over your whole body like a warm wave of relaxation. You take in and you let it out. Let that quality of relaxation you have quality of relaxation you have eyes flow over your whole body like a warm wave, taking you down that much deeper relaxed. Knowing you're perfectly safe, that there's nothing that possibly ever happened to you, your chair supporting you, you're in class with your roommates, you know you're perfectly safe, just go that much deeper. Okay. Because I'm wanting to get, the more I can get them to feel things, the more hypnotizable they are. Because the more they are less thinking and the more they are into feeling. So, you know, in my therapy, I don't even bother to use relaxation. Why? Because they're not there for it. Therefore, I just use what they came in for. They're sad, they're angry, they're pissed, they're embarrassed, they're afraid. Use that feeling, works just as well. Alright, so take that quality, if you followed my instructions up to this point, that quality of relaxation has flowed over from your whole body. So I'm going to lift you up to your left hand. Now, of course, you get to help me lift it, but don't let me, otherwise you'll lose the quality of relaxation you have in you. Just let that quality of relaxation be all over your arm. So I have to do all of the lifting. Let it be like a wham, right? There you go, taking it down that much deeper, relaxed. There you go, just let it relax deeper. Left hand, deeper, and deeper, relaxed. Nope. Let go deeper, relaxed. Let me do it all. Let go. Let go. So when I drop it, just drops, pops. Pop, pop. There you go, buddy. There you go. Now there are two ways a person can relax. They can relax physically, we just proved that. They can also relax mentally. So here's how we're going to do this. In a moment, I'm going to count out loud from 100. With each number I say, double your mental relaxation. With each number I say, let your mind become twice as clear. So by the time I get to 96, or probably even sooner for the two of you, you'll have completely forgot all of the numbers that come after 96. Just want that to happen, expect it to happen, and you can easily just spell all of the numbers right out of your mind. See, what I'm doing here is I'm getting them to clear their mind. I don't want them to think anymore. I want you guys to just completely relax. So 100, double your mental relaxation. 99, doubling it again. 98, letting yourself go completely relaxed and clear. Probably already there. 97, doubling that mental relaxation again, so you're perfectly calm and relaxed. 96, doubling it again, so your mind is perfectly clear, calm and relaxed. Because now you guys know you're here, you know you can hear me, but you guys are actually in a deep trance. Just let yourself be that way, completely loose, limp, and relaxed. There you go, loose, limp, and relaxed. Because obviously you're going to hear a lot of other things around, But when I say sleep or sleep now, you instantly return to this deep state of relaxation. Whenever I say sleep or sleep now, you instantly just return to this deep state of relaxation that you're in. Just drop down like that. So in a moment, I'm going to count to 3. On 3, I want you to open your eyes and look at me. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes, look at me, look at me. Open, 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 open. And sleep. Feel your eyes fluttering. Just let them go. Deep and relaxed. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. Sleep. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. Open, 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 open. And sleep. Okay. Now we can enter in light suggestions, and they probably act it out. So let's see. So from here on out, your name is John. First time touching now, your name is John. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Doesn't matter what you read or anything else. Your name is John. That's just the way it is. The guy I'm touching now, your name is Jackie. Doesn't matter what anybody says or what anybody reads. Your name is Jackie. You know it's that way. You know from the bottom of your heart it's that way. It doesn't matter if you're going to bet. Your name is Jackie. Nod your head if you understand. Good. 1, 2, 3. Wide awake. And so how do you guys feel?
Super calm and relaxed.
Yeah. And your name is?
John.
And your name is? Jackie. Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure, but it's what my mic is telling me.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, look at me and sleep now. Okay. Ain't that interesting? To see if you remember your little hand thing. If you imagine it, creates your reality. Alrighty, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna put a hand, put some glue right there, stick it on your head right now. There's absolutely glue stuck to your head right there. No matter what happens, you can't pull it off. And your hand is glued right there. Both your hands are glued right there. Doesn't matter if you touch it, pull it. The more you try, the harder it's glued there. The more you try to pull your hand off, the more it is glued there. The more you try, the harder it's glued there. 1, 2, 3, wait. So how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
That's good. And why do you have your hand on your head?
Because I was told it was glued there.
Same thing.
Can you pull it off? Because notice the more you pull, the harder it's stuck. The more you try, the harder it's stuck there. You can try, but it's stuck there. Try. Try harder. And realize it's stuck there because the more you try, the more it's stuck there. All right. Sleep. Sleep now. Janko, relax. Let Janko relax. So what do you think about hypnosis?
I don't know. I still don't know.
Okay. Have you ever been hypnotized before?
Never.
Put your hand up. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Now, have you ever accepted any suggestions? You know, here's another question. Who is the master hypnotist?
You yourself.
You yourself. Your parents. Your parents are the master hypnotists because your parents programmed you a lot of the problems the way you are. Okay? So, all right, so in a moment, I'm going to shake your hand. Okay? Just be loose and open to suggestions, okay? See this guy right here? He's going to catch you. Okay? Just be open to suggestions. Be relaxed. Look up your focus. I just want you to focus on it, okay? Just loose, limp, and relaxed. Actually, just keep your chair up. Thank you. Just bend over this way here. There you go. Do you know this guy?
A little bit.
Yeah? Okay. Well, because I just want you to focus right here, okay? Just focus right here. Don't think about anything. If I give you a thought or an idea, just picture it as reality, okay? Just like that and sleep. 1, 2, 3, wide awake. How you doing? Okay, sleep. And 1, 2, 3, wide awake. Sleep. 1, 2, 3, wide awake. All right. And how you doing?
Okay.
You doing good? Okay, sit back here. Focus on the camera. Focus, focus, focus. Sleep. All right, can you feel your eyes fluttering? Nod your head, yes. You can notice that. See, you're thinking deep in your chance. 1, 2, 3, open, 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 open. Look at the camera. Sleep. Okay, now what I'm doing is, okay, with these guys, Eddie can see more relaxed. Just both of you, all you guys feel deeply impressed, relaxed, perfectly fine, happy. Your eyes are vibrating, that's kind of cool. Feeling. What I'm using there is I'm just using shock. I throw her off balance. It's like that, whoa, and down she goes. when you get into that, your conscious mind can only think of a few things at a time. So, so let's say you're driving to work, okay? Some people actually even think to drive anymore. They don't. You put on makeup, you eat, you talk on the phone, you listen to the radio, and you drive. Your conscious mind can't think of that. It becomes a programmed response to be able to drive. Or you might drive down the freeway, past your exit, and you didn't even notice it. You're in a movie, and you cry. Why are you crying over pictures that are showing up there? It's because they've entranced you so much that you feel like, the little lady that just got hurt inside the movie. It's very easy. The less you think, the more entranced you become. You look at a 16-year-old trying to drive, and they are 100% on the wheel, the focusing, they can barely do it. But yeah, you can drive very easy. So it becomes a pattern of things that you don't even notice you even bother to do. All right, let's see here. Let's pick on these two over here. They just seem to be a little more advanced here. The two I'm touching now. Whenever I say the word hypnosis, that's just going to piss you guys off. You guys are prejudiced against hypnotists. You don't like hypnosis. You don't think it's real. You guys are just sitting here. So it's completely bogus to you. Whenever I say the word hypnosis, that just pisses you guys off. Just very, very upsetting. Prejudice. You hate hypnotists. You don't even know why I'm here. Very verbal about it. Very exaggerated about it because you just hate hypnotists. You hate hypnosis. You guys think it's completely bogus and fake. You guys are up here and you can hear me. You know what's talking. You know what's going on. Okay, everybody, 1, 2, 3, 1, wait. How you doing? Yeah, you don't feel hypnotized, do you? Because that's what hypnosis is. It's just the bypass of the conscious mind to the establishment of selective thinking. So, I like hypnosis. And what do you think about hypnosis?
It's a very great relaxation technique.
Okay. What do you think about hypnosis?
I don't think it really works.
You don't think so? What makes you think so? Hmm?
You can hear everything.
Yeah? Okay, sleep. Not interesting. All right, guy. The word hypnosis just got 10 times pissed off to you. It just makes you really, really upset. You don't feel hypnotized. You feel like relaxed. You don't feel hypnosis works. And just, giving you permission to really tell me how you feel hypnosis is. 1, 2, 3, wide awake. So, tell me about hypnosis.
I think it works. Bogus.
Yeah? What do you think about me?
Feel like
Come on, speak up. Be bold.
We should have stuck with the medical stuff.
That's okay, that's okay. Probably should. No, maybe in from your mind. But that's okay. I'll lift your hand. Thanks. Sleep. Sit back up. Alright, open your eyes. So how do you feel?
Good.
Alright, so you don't think hypnosis works, huh? Come on, spit it out.
Maybe it does. I don't know.
Alright. The guy's not agitated enough. What I want to try and prove though is, huh?
I just told him he's very polite.
Yeah, not very tough, are you? But really, when you look at people that have prejudice problems, it's a belief they got. It's a feeling they've got. They may have inherited it from their parents that black people aren't as good or whatever, or Hispanics are taking over this or that, or the Orientals or whatever. It's a program they have in their mind that they've accepted, and they're not a bad person. They just have a belief issue, a program that's stuck inside of them. All right. And you guys want to do therapy?
No, that sounds hellish.
You want to do a little therapy? No? No what?
I don't mind.
You don't mind? Good. All right. Because I like to categorize people that want therapy issues into 3 categories, okay?
I thought you were asking if I wanted to be a therapist.
Oh!
And I was like, listening to other people's problems. No, thank you.
What if What if you found out, though, that there never was a problem? It was always just a misperception. But there are, but do you know there's transformational change that you can see in their eyes when they finally realize, oh my God, my dad didn't hate me. Or they realize, you know, oh my, I didn't realize I've been set up all my life to do this. I was raised that way. That was one of mine is you know, is being raised, you know, myself as being raised LDS, you know, I was conditional love. I had to help people. I was back at 3 years old for picking up toys. You know, getting the priesthood. I was the savior of the world. I had to help everybody. Dang near killed me. Until I finally realized it's not my job to save everybody. It's not my job to help everybody. So that transpired a lot of my life that I had to do that. Dang near killed me. So anyway, all right. So sleep. Sleep. How you doing? You want 7:30 too? Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
Didn't do it.
All right, never mind. All right. You can have a seat or you can, Orem will use you and without using hypnosis. There you go. All right, so the little lady I'm touching now, your name is? Real name?
Chelsea.
Huh?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Real name, real Chelsea. So Chelsea, tell me something that's happened that's not the best that's happened to you in the past week.
I'm taking practice LSATs, and they are subpar at best.
So you're taking a test and you're just not doing very well.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. And that makes you feel?
Panicked and stupid.
Okay. Think of a time, now let that go, let that feeling and the thought go, just let it go. And think of a time when you succeeded in life, when you really did well in life. Let that feeling come to you. You have it? Good one, tell us about it.
I took 19 credit hours over the summer, and it was the first time I ever gotten straight A's.
Wow.
Wow.
And this made you feel?
Like a superstar.
Great. Scan your body from the top of your head to tips to toes. Where do you feel that feeling?
Right in my chest, right under my shoulders, and all the way down my spine.
Good for you. Focus on that feeling, just focus on it. Now, do any of you guys ever, I don't know, maybe you have or maybe you haven't, or when you ever go to a massage person and they massage them, ask them, does anybody ever just sometimes just burst into tears when they're massaging them? And they'll say, yes, on occasion it does. And the reason why, I believe, is because the mind is up here, but it's the subconscious thinking mind. It's not the mind. The mind is the body. Your programs, your feelings, your everything else is inside of your body. So she's feeling great and happy down her spine and her chest. So if there was a trachea accident that, well, we'll get to that later, but you'll find that various parts of their body, lead legs, hurt heart, hands are numb, feeling sick all over. It's the feelings inside the body. The mind can't actually feel anything. That's how come they could go and do brain surgery. The top part is only the part that feels anything. They mess around with your brain all they want, and you don't feel it. There's no feelings inside your brain. Ain't that interesting? All right, so we focus on that feeling. Do you feel good in that feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I want you to go back to the last time you took that LSAT test. Okay? Now I want you to turn around and, like a film, like you're editing a film, go ahead and cut that film out, that bad feeling out. Just cut it out of your life and bring that good feeling in, that straight A feeling. Put that feeling into your life, right where that test is. You done that? Great. So when you projecting a little bit further in the future, when you take that test, now with your new program in mind, as you sit down and take the test, how do you feel?
Excited.
There you go. And what's this? How's this going to make a difference in your life?
The key to doing well is to be calm when you take it.
Yeah.
And not panicky.
And right? Sorry, go ahead.
And not panicky.
Yeah.
And your score on the LSAT can get you as much as $200,000 depending on which law school you go to. So.
Score.
There you go.
And so right now I feel
I feel good.
good. So let that sink in, let that be your way that when you take the LSAT test, you feel that way because that's the way you're programmed, that's the way your life is, that's the way you feel. And if that's the way you feel, that's the way your reality is. So there are some simple suggestions when somebody comes, let's say somebody comes in for claustrophobia, okay? And let's say two ladies, because we'll pick on ladies this time. And one of the ladies just got locked, they both got locked in the freezer. And one of the ladies had a perfect good life all the time, except she got locked in the freezer and it was just for a few minutes, but now she's afraid to go in the freezer, so the employer's like, well, go see a hypnotist, I'll pay for it. So great, come back in, you can easily suggest different things to them to change their life because the program isn't that big of a deal. It's just, they were just a little scared of being in the freezer. All right, so the second lady that was with her, I'm also supposed to fix the claustrophobia in her. But yet she's come from a life from hell. You know, from little age she's been thrown into closets, into small spaces, smothered under the covers. Bad things have really, really happened to her, and it all throughout her life, and it always seems to be in tight places. You know, for me to try and suggest that she's going to be okay in the freezer, hell no. It's going to bounce off. It's going to be like trying to break a brick wall with a racquetball. It is just not going to happen. That's how come when I have these guys in hypnosis, the question always comes up sometimes, well, you know, in hypnosis, can you make them do anything then? And the answer is absolutely yes. That's why I have an island full of people, no guys in it. And you can't get it. It's not going to happen. They have other... That was a joke. Because I can't, you know, if I ask her to, you know, do something outrageous that goes against her beliefs, even a religious belief, a lot of things like that, it ain't going to happen. You can see on stage, you know, that's why a lot of hypnotists on stage, you got to be good at what can you get people to do and how can you get them to do it. Because maybe I can't get the guy to jump up and be Chip and Dale, but maybe I could suggest to him that he's had a hard day at work and he's been out working real hard. And man, you kind of stink, buddy, and you need a shower. Then I can get him to be a Chip and Dale. So it becomes a little sales pitch because you gotta work around these programs, these beliefs inside, because that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to get it to be that way. Okay? All right, guys. Let's use a little bit bigger one now. Has anybody heard of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique? No? Maybe we'll do that, teach that. Because I want you to really realize that's what we're trying to beat. We're trying to beat the emotions inside of somebody. Because once we get the emotions out of somebody, then they can change their perception. Then they can realize that's not the way it is, that life is actually really beautiful, that their dad loves them, that it was all a misperception about that. So, all right, buddy. So, has there been something that's been bothering you lately?
Yeah.
Great. You want to share it? Guess your dad asked that question first.
Income, just money.
Okay. All right. Are you okay if we go deeper on this?
Yeah.
You're sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the thought of money makes me feel
Frustrated.
great. Scan your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Where do you feel frustrated inside your body?
Around where my heart would be. Where
Feel frustration in your heart?
mm-hmm.
And the sensation you're feeling is?
Uneasiness.
Huh?
Just uneasy.
Uneasy? Great. Focus on that feeling. You see, all I'm doing is I'm getting to focus, imagination, feeling, and I'm going to go. So focus on that feeling. As you focus on that feeling, I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. As I do, let your mind take you back to the scene, situation, or event that has everything to do with this frustrated you're feeling in your heart. Just focus on that frustrated uneasiness feeling. 5, going back in time. 4, to a scene, situation, or event that has everything to do with this uneasiness feeling you're feeling about money. 3, knowing that this is a perfect time and a perfect place to let it happen. 2 and 1, there you are. Does it feel like daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
Indoors or out?
Indoors.
With somebody or alone?
Alone.
What's going on in your world?
Trying to provide.
Huh?
Trying to provide.
Trying to provide? And right now I feel scan your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Thoughts, feelings, impressions.
Don't have an app.
Hmm?
I'm looking for answers.
Okay. And that makes me feel,
Frustrated.
I'm allowed to feel frustrated.
Yes.
Just repeat this after me. I'm allowed to feel frustrated.
I'm allowed to feel frustrated.
These are my feelings.
These are my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
Things are happening to me to make me feel this way.
Things are happening to me that I feel this way.
So I'm allowed to feel frustrated.
I'm allowed to feel frustrated.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
Tell me how this feels. And I deeply and completely accept myself.
I really deeply accept myself.
How did that feel to you? True or false?
Sure.
Right now I feel.
Comfortable.
And as I think about money, I feel.
I'll find a way.
And right now I feel.
Fine.
So that's good. Just stay right there. Just pause right there. So what it is I'm just getting him to recognize his feelings, because a lot of times when a hawk goes out to catch a rabbit, okay, the rabbit will take off and be very scared, have a lot of pent-up energy, and most of the time actually the hawk actually misses. After the rabbit gets done and knows it's safe, it'll go over and lay down and have like a little seizure type thing, and it's releasing all of the tensions and the feelings inside of its body. Even though we like to think we're above animals, we're really not. We still have feelings inside. We just don't allow ourselves to feel our feelings. But if there's a secret to this, it's this. All feelings are short-lived unless you resist feeling. We don't like to feel sad, so we stuff it inside. We don't like to feel hurt, so we stuff it inside. We don't like to feel angry, so we stuff it inside. Because we don't like to feel it. But yet if we feel it, then we'll release it, and then we'll come back to feeling good and comfortable about whatever thought it is. All feelings are short-lived unless you resist feelings. So, EFT is a great way, so is exercise. I have a big pillow in my office, and I allow, I suggest, I guess, that they take their energy, put it in their hand, and put it into the pillow. And they just put it into the pillow and let it speak it out, and they just let it all out. They let Dad really have it. You sound like this, blah, 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 blah. They just get it all out. And it's like, wow, I feel so much better. Great. As I count down from 3 to 1, your mind takes us back to the scene situation. Man, 3, 2, 1, boom, there you are. And what's going on? Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm at the table, and Dad's yelling at me. Oh, great. Right now I feel okay. Well, great. Well, thoughts, feelings, impressions. Let me use one of my examples. One of my big ones I just like to share a lot is Christmas morning, 7 years old, excited. Christmas morning, 7 years old, run down there, go down there to Christmas, open up a lot of presents, and that year I get a big microscope set for Christmas. It's the nicest gift I had at that time. It's a huge microscope set. And so time goes on, I'm at the kitchen table a little later after, and I have got the whole microscope set out. I've got the brine shrimp and the tweezers and real glass slides all over the place and chemicals and this and that and gadgets, and I'm just going at it, 7-year-old. You can imagine this, and it's all over the table. And my dad comes in and sees the big mess and yells at me, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing? And I feel really dumb and inferior at that time because of the big mess I made. And so my life up to the last few years, I've always felt dumb and inferior. I missed one in class. I'm so stupid. I can't believe I got 98 on my test. Damn it. And they can feel that way. So I go back and do my therapy and release that feeling. And then it comes out, 3 to 1 situation arises where I realize, oh my God, Dad's yelling at me because he loves me. He wants to share this experience with me. He's so mad at me because I made a mess of this. He wants to be with me. I never knew that. See the transformational change? And everything happens to that. Everything in life is just that way. It's a misperception from a belief. When you get a lot of empathy and understanding and compassion, when you can release your feelings about somebody, about something, about an issue, about tests, about money. Okay. Have you ever, did you grow up with a belief that money is the root of all evil?
No.
What belief did you grow up with about money?
It's means to an end.
Huh?
It's just a way to achieve things.
There you go. Is it easy come or hard to cut?
Hard.
Isn't that an interesting belief? It's just paper. It's just an energy. What if your belief changed that it was easy to get? What would your life be like differently?
Less stressful.
Because is it true or false? Some people get money easy.
True.
Some people get it hard.
False.
What's the difference between the two people?
Combination of people in it.
It could be, but is it not true though that you can find rich people that came up from poor places?
True.
So that doesn't work, that theory. It's just a perception, it's just a belief we've got, it's just something we're stuck with inside. All right, you ready? You guys can wake up 1, 2, 3 while I wait. Unless you want to relax. You good? Great. So you got something in your life you want to fix?
Lots of things in my
Oh. Well, tell me about some of them.
Probably the priority is school.
School?
Just getting it done.
Okay, this is only going to take 10 minutes, so we got to pick on one. So is school a good one?
School.
School's a good one? Great. So tell me about school.
It's really stressful.
It is?
Because there's so much I have to do.
Really? Like what?
When I first got on, I got to finish the semester, and then I have to figure out what grad school I'm going to get into, and then I'm going to pay for it. And I have to take the GRE. I don't even know what it is. So,
Oh, stress.
yes.
What do you guys do with? Yeah, I don't care what you do. Because tell me about the school again, this time with your eyes closed. Because, if you wanted to get somebody, we're in a trance so much, you can tell the story 100 times about how rough school is. But get her to close her eyes, get her to focus inside, get her to focus her feelings. Now tell me about how school is.
It's fun. I mean, I love school, but it's still stressful.
So they're in hypnosis, they're really going because their eyes are vibrating. It's just one of the signs. Keep going. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt you, but it's kind of a class.
What else do you want me to say?
Keep going. Tell me about school. Well, tell me about the stress parts of school. What would you like fixed?
I don't know. I don't know if there's much I can fix other than just keep studying and working hard.
And this makes me feel.
Anxious.
Scan your body from the top of your head, tips to toes. Where do you feel anxious at the thought of school?
Right in my heart.
Pretty tough, huh? What is that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how big is that feeling?
10.
Wow, that's pretty tough then, huh? Do you want to go back to a time when this originated, or you just want to release it?
Just release it.
So focus on that feeling. Is that a comfortable feeling or an uncomfortable feeling? You want to hold on to it or release it?
Release it.
Okay. Just come up and rub in a circle. Just below your collarbone here. Right there. Okay. Just rub in a little circle. That's going to hurt you or anything else, and just focus on your heart and on the feeling. Why am I doing that? Because the conscious mind can only do so many things. So I'm having her focus on the feeling. I'm having her doing this. I'm going to have her say things. I'm going to have her do things. So she's very suggestive. So just focus on that feeling. Right now, I feel
Better.
pretty quick release feeling. Right now, I feel
Nervous.
nervous. Where do you feel nervous at? Want to hold on to it or release it?
Release it.
Just say, these are my feelings.
These are my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel all my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel all my feelings.
Even the stressful feeling I'm feeling now.
Even the stressful feeling I'm feeling now.
But I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
I'm allowed to feel my feelings.
Even the stressful feeling.
Even the stressful feelings.
Because something happened to me to make me feel this way.
What's that?
Just because something happened to me to make me feel this way.
Something happened to me that made me feel this way.
So I'm going to feel it
Feel it?
so I can release it.
So I can release it.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
Good job. A lot of people, I do that, I deeply and completely accept myself, because sometimes some people can't say that. They hate themselves so much, they've got such a freaking program in here that they hate themselves, and so then I have to change it. I'm working on myself, or I'm feeling myself, or I'm alive, or something. Because I just want to end on a positive note. And so that's what I was looking at her to see if that was the case with her. You okay with accepting yourself? Yeah. All right. Right now I feel
Better.
Anyway, do any three of you have a big or deep issue that you wouldn't mind sharing? It's just bugging the crap out of you. Anyone at all? Anyone?
I do, but I don't want to expose it.
Okay. Well, let's just go through the feeling then, okay? You don't have to tell me what it is. Let's just call it X. You okay with X? X is good. That was a good one, wasn't it? Great. Where do you feel that feeling?
Right here. Right down to my stomach.
Good. Just focus on that feeling then. I'm allowed to feel this.
I'm allowed to feel this.
It's my feeling.
It's mine.
Because something happened to me to make me feel this way.
Because something happened to me to make me feel this way.
Is that true or false?
Very true.
So I'm going to feel it.
I'm going to feel it.
So I can release it.
So I can release it.
So I can accept myself.
So I can accept myself.
Right. There you go. Just keep on focusing on that feeling. Next time I want you to come up though and tap above your eye. There you go. Just like that. Just tap there. Feeling, what do you feel?
I'm nervous still.
Okay, what the feeling in your gut and your stomach and your chest, is it still there? About X?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. We're gonna, all I can say is sometimes when you get somebody in a deep push issues and they're really wanting to just get the shit out, it's tense. So this is how I release sad feelings, and then obviously hard feelings I just get them to just walk into the pillow. It's just an energy. It's just emotions, energy and motion that I'm trying to release around this perception. Because when I get that release or the feeling around the perception, then the perception can release and move, and then it can change and see things for a different way. Because nobody ever sees two things the exact same way. So feeling this, what do you got in your chest? Sensation?
Anger.
Feeling this anger. Feeling this anger. Say that. Feeling this anger.
Feeling this anger.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
There you go. Now to the side of your eye. Feeling this anger in my chest.
Feeling this anger in my chest.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
There you go. Now below your eye. Feeling this anger feeling in my chest.
Feeling this anger in my chest.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
Now below your nose. Same comment.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
Feeling this anger, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Feeling this anger, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Under your chin.
Feeling this anger, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Now under your sternum.
Feeling this anger, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Now do your thumb. Honestly. Thank you.
Feeling this anger, I deeply and completely accept
Just
myself.
go through all your fingers like that. Don't worry about what I'm saying. What it is EFT. They call it emotional freedom technique. You can find a lot of it on YouTube, different things. A lot of people have a lot of theories of why it works, the energy, setting the meridian points of the body. Of course, I'm a hypnotist, so I see it from a hypnotist point of view that I'm hypnotizing people to feel the feelings so they can release it. Next finger. Or did you go through your fingers already? Okay, relax your fingers. Take a deep breath in and scan your body. Thoughts, feelings, impressions.
Release.
And right now I feel.
Feel better.
I'm allowed to feel better.
I'm allowed to feel better.
I'm allowed to feel this much better already.
I'm allowed to feel this much better already.
I felt my feelings.
I felt my feelings.
I released some.
I released some.
And now I feel.
And now I feel happier.
I'm feeling better. That's
I
good.
feel better.
There we go. Let's not lie to ourselves. All right? And that's another thing too is when you start to release this junk here, it'll be like an empty cup. You know, it's full of mud, and when you dump it out, you gotta fill it back up with something, or it'll go back to what security is. It isn't what's good for you. It isn't what's safe for you. It's only what familiar is. So, you know, you got, somebody beats a little lady. Why does she stay with them? Because it's security. And people like, that ain't secure, honey. That's gonna kill you. But it's security is what is familiar to you. So in the deeper subconscious mind, that's what security is. It's what's familiar. So that's why when there are these feelings like that, I want to compound it. If they feel good, they feel great, they feel better, because I'm trying to release that so they can feel better. And then when all this is released, then that perception can change and feel good. So 1, 2, 3, what? Yeah. Right. So I do have one more suggestion I want to give you guys. Because it's nothing more than suggestion. You know, Jan gives you suggestions. You know, your boyfriend, girlfriend gives you suggestions. It's nothing more than suggestions. So, I got $20. $20, raise your hand. Don't be shy, chickens. $20, raise your hand. Keep it raised. Come on, don't be chicken. You're serious. You don't want $20?
Sorry,
Yeah, $20, I want to give it away. If you want it, raise your hand. Thank you. Good. So, all right, let's watch. This is a very important lesson. Because you want $20, yes? Well, if I do this to you.
Still want it.
What if I step on it and smash it?
A little less, but I still want
You
it.
still want it?
Right now.
Well, here's my question though. Because all of your hands are still up. So here's my question to you. A very valuable lesson about life. No matter what I did to the $20, you still wanted it. It didn't lose its value. And in life, as life goes on, sometimes we get rumbled up, creased up, bamboozled, hoodwinked, and thrown in the garbage, and we feel less valuable. But the real of the truth matter is, you're still just as valuable. Nothing has ever changed your value. And tomorrow's a new day. So that is your lesson. Anytime you see $20 bills, remember you're just as valuable. X never had a problem over it. Do you have any questions about hypnosis? No? You understand how it works now. It's nothing more than, when you had a hypnotician, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. What if you, what about people that can't be hypnotized or have problems being hypnotized?
Sure. There's only 3 people that cannot be hypnotized. Ones are little kids, because you can't hypnotize them because they don't have a conscious mind. They haven't developed the mind. They accept everything. You can tell a little kid anything. You can tell them the fat man squeezed down a chimney and they believe it. You can get them to believe anything. It's only when they get old enough that they start to hear that Santa Claus isn't real do they develop a conscious mind, because it's just there to deflect of what their deeper programs is. So you can't hypnotize little people. You can't hypnotize drunk people because they can't focus, they can't learn anything. And you can't hypnotize somebody that, you're right, that is handicapped and capable of learning anything. Because remember, hypnosis is nothing more than the bypass of the critical factor to the establishment of selective thinking. You're hypnotized all the time, all day, every day. You know, commercials want you to reach tide so you can do that. Drug commercials, just one of those I get more and more. Drug commercials, you know, you feel lousy, you have the flu, do. You know, the song takes you down, and they feel like crap. And then they say, but then you take this happy orange pill, and then you're all better, and life is great, and it's beautiful, and the sun shines out. They're nothing more than hypnotizing you to believe that way. Be careful of labels. Don't label anybody. Okay? Labels are horrible. You label somebody as you know, as we say, as the flu. Okay? They may have actually a runny nose, big whoop-de-deal. But you label them as having the flu, now they have a, you know, you're giving them a suggestion to have a fever, to throw up, to have nasal congestion, to have all of these signs and symptoms that they can list, because they want everybody to buy their medication, to buy their medications. So they list all of these things. If you label somebody as bipolar, great. Now, what you just did is gave them a suggestion to have all of these signs and symptoms that everybody could possibly think of that bipolar has. And it may have just been they had a bad morning. It may have just been they're a little sad. It may have just been something simple. But you label them, you give them suggestions to have everything. So be careful of labels. Don't label anybody. But what was your suggestion? What about people that can't be hypnotized? Everybody's hypnotizable, except for those 3 people. Because if you can learn something, it's nothing more than getting you to learn, to feel, behave, respond, and react.
What about people who are
like chronic drug users, like opiates and things of that nature. If they're actually like drug induced at that time, can they be hypnotized?
Not as much as if they have a clear thinking mind. That's much better. Drug addicts are great. Why are they that way? What are they trying to, alcoholics, what are they trying to numb? What are they trying to get away from? What are they trying to evade? An addict, an addict is nothing more than trying to self-medicate because they want something, they need something. And so they believe that's the way they get it. They're running from something. Some people can drink and not have a problem. Other people can drink and have a very big problem with it. Why? Because their body found a way to numb the pain that's inside of them. And so I go the opposite direction. A lot of hypnotists only go with the scriptnosis. They call it scriptnosis, and that's just nothing more than a pattern. It's just words you speak to suggest to them to something, because you want to get in their creative mind, imaginational mind, and change this philosophy to something different. Smoking's bad for you, smoking stinks, smoking does this, smoking does that, smoking does this. In their mind, though, smoking is a stress release. In their mind, it lowers their blood pressure, makes them feel better, makes them feel relaxed, makes them feel like a timeout, makes them feel acceptance. Acceptance is a big one. Usually they started smoking at 16. Why? Because they wanted to fit in the group. They wanted to fit in that group so bad, so emotionally bad, that they hypnotized themselves not to cough anymore, so they can breathe in the smoke. That's what they do. They hypnotize themselves. And so we go back there, release those trances about acceptance, that they realize, oh my gosh, I'm perfectly fine without this. I don't need this in my life. I don't need that. Then they break their addiction. Any other questions?
Are we all alert, and especially those three?
They all know the names and stuff.
Yeah,
Because I'm so relaxed that I wanted to lay down. That's, so I just want to make sure everybody's conscious.
right.
To get up and walk
Well,
away.
and that's on the comedy side of things. You go in there knowing it's a comedy side of things, and that things are going to be fun, and you're going to do silly things. It's all a setup. The music, the atmosphere, the perception. It's all a setup. Will they have some of those suggestions that linger off? Possibly, if the hypnotist died on stage. Possibly, but the deeper programs is going to come out ahead of them and realize, my name isn't Jackie, my name is John, or whatever your name is. It'll come out, and so when you go see the hypnotherapist, they got to be really, really, really good at coming up with an imaginational story to change that perception of why you are the way you are, so you can understand that. And when you take the test, that's going to make you feel
Good. I'm excited about it.
okay. So that's how it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Is what program am I putting in here, and what program am I competing against? So that's why I really like regression and releasing feelings, because then I know I'm healing them instead of trancing them into a different trance. Because if you take a smoker and you trance into them that they can't smoke, and you are that good enough, and you got them in that big a trance, and you compound it, that's great. You block their smoking. So now they're but they still have a need. I still need to be accepted. I still need a break. I'm going to take up chewing tobacco. I'm going to take up shopping. I'm going to take up something else, because they still have a need. You didn't satisfy the need in the little book, Man's Search for Happiness. He says, we all wear a sign that says, tell me I'm important to you. And that's all it is. Anything else?
You spelled hypnotherapy wrong.
Oh, okay. If you go to Advanced Hypnosis Hypnotherapy, there's an education site on there. And you click on that. I want to know if it was valuable to you. So if you would make a comment in there that's valuable, then I'll have your email address, and I'll email you a little program I just made called Exposed Hypnosis, which was a lot the same thing in here, other than I go into a lot more of EFT, release feelings, and different things like that. If you text hypnosis to 31966, that's my little number, and I put every other week I put something about hypnosis, something inspiring, something happy, something coupon or a program in there to help you change things. I'm just trying to insert programs in here where you've already got programs to take tests better, relax better, sleep better, whatever you want. Anything else? Hey, thanks.